Life. Okay. All right. I'd like to call the Tuesday, December 13th, 2022 regular council meeting to order at 9:00 a.m. I'd like to welcome council and administration to today's meeting. We have one person from the media online, and we have 5 guests joining us this morning. And they'll be part of our delegation later. So we'll do the introductions of our guests at that time. We'll move on to item number 2, the adoption of the agenda. And I think I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to allow administration to make some additions that they have to the agenda this morning. And then we'll work around their agendas, or their additions. So we'll turn it over to Peter.
Well, thank you, Mr. Reeve. We have 3 additions to the agenda. The first one is a closed session matter referred to as purchase of a used rescue truck. The second one is a public matter, GIS MRF report. It was not ready at the time of publishing the agenda, therefore we're adding it today. And the third one is a legal matter. So we'd like to address the purchase of the used rescue truck just before 5.1. Because we just wanted to ensure council understood that there is no budget implication. And we'd like to deal with the GIS MRF report in section 7 business. So does that become 7.0? Are we going to do that? We're going to do that one first.
That'll be what, 7.5?
Sure, 7.5. Yeah. And the legal matter can be in closed session in 11.1. And I guess I should just mention there are some copies on your desk providing larger format and some of the things in your agenda package, as well as some additional information.
Okay, that's it for administration. So I guess, Kim, you'll rearrange the numbering for us here. Okay. All right, I'll start with council additions to the agenda here. I think I'd like to put a labor under the closed session before the budget approval. So that would be a closed session for labor. And that's the only addition I have. Councillor Naka, do you have any additions?
I have one. It's councillor expense claims.
7.6.
And that's it for me. I've got another item, but I'll bring it up when we discuss budget.
Okay. Councillor Wawawa. Councillor Wick. Deputy Reeve Whitus.
Yeah, I got first we can open up the 5.1, open the budget and go over it before we vote on it and stuff. Have it opened up, but it sounds like it will be. Before we get to that 5.1, I'd like to add consultants. And then contracts, employee contracts. And another addition, the org chart before we get to the budget on 5.1, please.
Okay, can you run those by me again?
Yeah, consultants.
Okay.
Then contract employees. Then org chart. And then I got one more addition, in our care, and that can be anywhere on, anywhere on the agenda.
That's not a committee report.
I got a committee report for it too, but I got a question about it, so,
Okay, so we'll put that under 7.7 then. Okay.
in our care. That's that, fire and rescue group for the plants.
Fortress.
Org.
Okay, anything else? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion to accept the December 13th, 2022 regular council meeting agenda as amended.
I make
Councillor Whitus, sorry,
accept-
Deputy Reeve Whitus.
Yeah, accept the agenda as amended for the December 13, 2022 regular council meeting.
Any questions or concerns? Debate? All those in favor? It's carried 5-0. We'll move on to item number 3.1, adoption of the November 22nd, 2022 regular council meeting minutes. We've had a chance to peruse the minutes. Anyone notice any errors or omissions? Seeing none. Councillor Naka,
I move that Lamont County Council adopt the November 22nd, 2022 regular council meeting minutes as presented.
any questions or concerns? Debate? Seeing none. All those in favor? Carries 5-0. And adoption of the November 28th, 2022 budget meeting minutes. Anyone notice any errors or omissions in those minutes? All the recesses and reconvenings are all recorded accurately. Aaron,
Yeah,
Councillor Wick,
I'll make a motion that Lamont County Council adopt the November 28th, 2022 budget minute meeting as presented.
any questions or concerns? Debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? It's carried 5-0. Okay, we'll move on to item number 4 of the agenda, delegations. 4.1, Reeves Golf Tournament check presentations. And I believe we have people here from the Mundare Easter Basket and from the Lamont County Food Bank. And we would like to do a check presentation this morning and do a photo op also. Peter, did you have anything to add?
Mr. Reeve, today from the Mundare Easter Basket, we've got Rudy Warwa, Faye Ivan Shishin, and Cliff Morazuk. And from the Lamont County Food Bank, we've got Jody Zahoda and Chris Mintenko. Council had taken a decision some months ago that they wanted the proceeds from the Reeves tournament to go to supporting displaced Ukrainians in the community. We found that there were not many charitable organizations that were doing that, but there were many organizations in support. Council's decision was to distribute the dollars to the Mundare Easter Basket and as well as the Lamont County Food Bank. Clearly, the Lamont County Food Bank may be providing support beyond simply displaced Ukrainians, but they thought council believed that was an opportunity. So we have a couple of checks, and we've got our communications person, Jay Zal, here, who's prepared to take a picture. So perhaps council should stand out in front of the dais with one group and then the other and take a photo.
Let's do this, council's above. Yep. Both please, David. Thank you. Thanks, I guess. Thank you for all the work you have done regarding these. Chris. Thank you. Thanks, Chris. Okay, you're welcome to stay for the balance of the meeting, or it's entirely up to you. You think you'll go? We are going into closed session right away, so we probably have to boot you out anyway, but and like I say, truly appreciate the work that your groups do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll move on. Jay, there was a message out yesterday. You're going to take a picture of us in our Christmas ties. Did I miss that opportunity, or
No, that was.
are we going to do that later?
That was just for that, wasn't it?
Yes, we'll be taking a picture by the Christmas tree.
Okay, that'll be later. Noon hour then.
Yeah.
Just before anybody slops their lunch on their shirt, I think.
Well,
Best time.
And it said on the email to be here before 9, so it was here 8:15 waiting for this picture.
That's commitment, Counselor Dan.
I know.
All right, let's move on to item 5.1. And I guess the first thing I need is a motion to go in camera. We don't have one here, so maybe Kim, if you could put one on the board, and this would be relative to sections, labor would be 17. And I'm not too sure what the fire truck would be, Peter.
Advice to officials, isn't that 20?
Yeah. 24.
Thank you. I notice I don't have my cheat sheet under my glass, so we'll get that fixed for next meeting.
Hmm.
24. 17 and 24.
And did everyone get the handout regarding the purchase of a used, oops, we're not on the line yet.
The title is
We're not even in a closed session here yet. Sorry, jumping the gun.
we need somebody to make the motion.
Motion is on the board. If somebody,
No. The Lamont County Council move into closed session December the 13th, 2023 at 9:16 a.m. Pursuant to Division 2, Section 17 and 24 of the Freedoms and Information and Protection Policy Act.
if we could just correct your 2023 to 2022,
Well,
because I made that same mistake at the Christmas party on Friday. I was at next year's Christmas party already. All right, any questions or concerns? If not, those in favor? That's carried 5-0. Let's reconvene at 10:36 a.m. And the first item we will deal with is Councillor Wick, you're going to make a motion.
Make a motion that Lamont County Council approve an amendment to the scope of the currently approved capital project 02-22-09 fire-2001-04 to allow for the direct purchase of a used 2006 Freightliner M rescue unit to the maximum of $100,000.
I think you might want to refer to that as an M2, I would think is how it was recorded.
Shouldn't we have the, what it's replacing in the budget, budget number?
That is the budget number right in the middle.
Okay.
Just an M2, yeah.
Yeah, Freightliner M2.
That's a series.
Council, any further questions or concerns? Debate? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
It's carried. And I also need a motion to accept the labor matters information. Right?
I move that Lamont County Council received a verbal report regarding labor as information.
Questions or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Neil, you're in favor?
Yeah.
It's carried. Okay, next item added to the agenda was consultants. Neil, that's yours.
Yeah, I've been asked by ratepayers and stuff on how many consultants or consulting firms the county has hired in 2022 and to present. So we gotta get a number on how many we got consultant firms. And
Very good, Mr. Reeve. I'm able to indicate that we've got one consultant providing support on HR. What I would suggest is the council direct us to bring forward a report to the January 10th meeting, and we can get you an exhaustive list.
okay, that'll be good.
So perhaps
So
something
Can we
like,
get a motion then to that effect?
you have a motion in mind, Councillor Voitis, or sorry, Deputy Reeve Voitis?
You gotta write it on the board or I gotta wing it?
You could read it. Oh, No, we haven't prepared anything. We didn't know.
Okay, so let's manufacture one here then.
Wonder if I should combine, number of contract employees also,
Be happy to do that.
put it together. Let's do it in one motion.
Yep. That Lamont County Council Direct Administration to provide a list of
Consultants or consultant firms. And, a
contract.
number of how many contract employees the county of Lamont has.
Technically, aren't all employees contracted?
I think I understand what
You understand
what
where
Councillor or Council Deputy Reeve Voitis is looking for. You're talking about non-permanent, non-part-time.
IT, I guess, would be a contracted. Is that a contract or?
Well, they're not a contract employee, but they're a contract, so
I think that's the ones you're referring to now, right?
Yep.
is there a time frame during all of 2022 or just?
Right, the last 6 months, like here, since September.
Okay. Since September 2022.
And if they're still with us, they were before and they're still here, just a number.
Just since September 2022 is adequate.
Okay, Lamont, I can make this motion, huh? Lamont County Council Direct Administration to provide a list of consulting firms and how many contract employees the county of Lamont has since September 2022.
Any questions or concerns? Debate? Seeing none, those in favor?
Yep.
Carried 5-0. And then you had the organization chart on there, Neil?
That one, maybe we should move in camera next time we go in camera.
So can we renumber that one to be 11.2?
Okay.
Very good.
Okay. I'm not sure where this ends up in the numbering system here, Kim, but my agenda still sees 5-1. 2023 budget approval.
We'll make it work, Mr. Reeve.
Okay.
But we gotta open that up and go in there for a few things, correct?
Yep. Basically, what the agenda item is for is further presentation by administration and further discussion by council if they feel warranted. So I guess I'll let Peter do a lead in here.
Thank you, Mr. Reeve. Council spent the better part of 21 hours between the 28th and the 30th of November reviewing the recommended base budget from staff, as well as a number of operating and capital business cases. That was on the basis of input that we received from council at its strategic meetings through various Survey Monkey tools that we used, as well as from a citizen open house and survey that occurred mid-year. Mr. Boyko and I provided an update to council. I think it was on November 7th in terms of the base budget substantially being what came out of 2022. And we identified opportunities based on those inputs that I referenced to reduce the budget somewhat significantly. In 2022, we had a contribution from operating reserves of somewhere in the order of 1.7 million. The recommended budget we bring forward today has a contribution from operating reserves of 1.5, and that's 1.5 million, and that's after addressing some service enhancement priorities, as well as capital. Now, what you see in your package has some additional information that helps show opportunities to reduce, in particular, the capital the capital contribution from reserves because of three things. The first being trade-in values on equipment, the second being grants, and the third one is not coming to mind. Rodney, what is it?
It was reserves, trade-in values.
Reserves, trade-in values, and capital grants. Yeah. We have some additional information that we received yesterday that will be of interest to council, having to do with the assessment year modifiers, which in 2023 will be a favorable tax impact, and I'll hand that out in a minute. On the overall, we have 4 recommended motions. One that in essence has council approve the operating and capital budget for 2023. The first one is amendments to the service level catalog, and we do that kind of like an amendment. So we didn't bring the whole 60 or 50 page service catalog, we just brought the amendments. The second one is the approval of the 2023 and 2024 operating budgets. The third one has to do with the reserve transfers, and the fourth has to for operating, and the fourth has to do with reserve transfers for capital. Council did an awful lot of heavy lifting on this budget. Council took some challenging decisions around deferring some positions and deferring some capital equipment, or opting to have staff pursue equipment which is previously owned, and that's all in the effort of trying to minimize the drawdown on our reserves. And on the overall, you will note that the reserve transfers in this package are less than what we depicted to you on the 30th, having gone through and incorporated the various trade-in values and various grants that are available to us. So with that, I'll hand it over to Mr. Boyko.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Tarnowski. So just to add to that, so the reserve transfers that we've put in here is, we put in the worst case scenario. So this is what we believe is going to happen, but we haven't added in all of the deferred grants that we have access to. So we're going to, now that the projects have been chosen and the budget is there are some other grants that we may be able to apply to this, and that will again reduce those reserve transfers. There are a couple of items that weren't addressed in the budget committee meetings, so I just wanted to bring that to council's attention. The carry forward items includes an item for the fuel tank readers that was approved in 2022. We received a notification from our vendor on December 5th, following the meetings, that there was one particular item that was delayed due to supply chain issues, and I believe it's SIM cards is what it was. So unfortunately, they won't be able to install it and have it ready for use until 2023, which is in the first couple of weeks. Basically, just wanted to make sure that it was on there, that most of the equipment is already ordered and available, just not in operation. There was as council will recall, we had done a number of red and green coloring for prioritizing our items. Council did get a copy of that for their reference, but we didn't put that in the package to keep the budget approval cleaner. There was one item that mistake was made on the library funding. Council had made it red and withdrew it, but that was missed in this package. So that motion number 2, we're going to be reducing that $36 million of operating expenses by $4,000 to $36,502,283. And again, as Mr. Trowski said, a lot of this package and presentation was based on that input that we received from council, from the public, and from the rationale that we could reduce expenses as much as we could. And if you're going through your package, I'll just kind of go through it fairly high level. Page 23 is the amendments to the service level. So instead of bringing the whole 60-page catalog, we just put in the enhancements and council directives in there. Once they're approved after today's budget, then we'll update that catalog and have that produced as well. The fifth bullet down, again, there was one mistake. The new water truck that was put in there before, those wording is going to be removed from this amendment. Then going forward, page 24, 25, and 26 are the detailed consolidated sheets, giving it by GL on a consolidated basis. The first column is the new 2023 budget. The second column is the 2022 with the comparison values between that. Following that, page 27 and on is the by department areas, and then with another consolidated in that format on page 39 and 40. And then following that, page 41 shows our carry forward projects. Again, that fuel tank reader was added on. It's the bottom line on the top section. 2023 capital projects are page 42. Page 43 is 2023 capital equipment. And then page 44 shows the funding, and that there is a larger sheet, I believe, handed out to be able to see some of those numbers. The items that we have added in there is column number 4, sale of equipment. That number was updated after the committee meetings. So you'll see that $395,000, that's lowered our reserve transfers from capital. And then the rest of this, page 45 and 46, are multi-year capital. So that's 2024 to 2027 capital equipment and capital projects.
So, Mr. Reeve, we're handing out a larger page 44 for your benefit. And Ms. Kennedy is also handing out a document that we received from the province yesterday regarding the assessment modifiers, which
yes.
Maybe Mr. Boyko can talk to as well.
Yes, and so the once it's handed out, what we received yesterday, every year the assessment department of the provincial government sets out modifiers on the calculation of linear assessment. And so the linear assessment calculation is a fairly long formula, but it takes an adjusted cost base. And so that is a standard dollar value throughout the province for what it costs to build a plant or equipment. That is set by regulation. And then to come up with our assessment, they use assessment year modifiers, depreciation, and 2 other factors that are essentially just to add special changes to it. Normally those aren't affected, but the assessment year modifier. So if you look at this email, you'll see that the 2021 to 2022 assessment year modifiers have been increasing for the property types of wells, pipelines, power, and so forth. And the reason why they say 2021 and 2022 is because that's when our assessment was. Our assessment is based on October 31st, of the previous year for the upcoming year. And we anticipate some increases. And so what it's taking, to do the calculation, it's going to take the cost that they figure that particular facility is. And last year they would have multiplied it by 1.2 to get the value. This year they're going to be multiplying it by 1.4. And it's one of the things that's going to be that we can do, as we discussed in the committee meetings. There was no intention to increase the non-residential assessment rate, but we will see some increase in the non-residential assessment itself. And what the final value is going to be hard to determine at this point because we don't have what the depreciation factors are. But it gives you just a little bit of sense that we are going to see a slight increase in our non-residential assessments in the linear section primarily.
There's going to be an increase, you said?
That's correct. In the assessment on linear. And that's good news for you know, especially the commercial type businesses in the area, which are assessed separately. That you know, we're going to be able to see some increased revenue without having to increase the rate for our commercial people in the area. So it's this is more just information at this point. We'll be finding out all the final values here come February with once the assessment is uploaded. But we wanted to we got this information yesterday. We want to be able to share it with council to let you know some possible good news with our assessments. So is there any questions that the council has on the budget? And any more information that the council would like to be able to get?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Will. I'll go.
Page 20.
One revenue. Why do you have aggregate levy, water sales grouped together? Yet you have clay levy separate. Why do you have water sales in there?
Councillor Naka, if I could answer that. That is how Questica was set up in 2017 or 2018 when it came here. That's how they set it up, that the aggregate levy has a GL code ending in a 421 and water also has the same one. So it's been an oops, but I don't know how to fix it. It's on my radar. I just don't know how to separate them till they have their own GLs because there's so much history attached.
Oh, okay.
If you want to be able to pull the number out, however, you can go to page 32 and you can see what the water revenue is there and pull that out of that number.
So Rodney, with the assessment year modifiers, there's going to be an increase in taxes for the commercials, but it's due to the increase in assessment, not increase in the tax rate, right?
That's correct. But we don't know what the actual in-use equipment is. This is just the modifier of that. So if new equipment has come in, then we'll be able to benefit from that. If equipment's gone out, of course, we're gonna, that'll go against us. But this is, so when you talk about a growth in assessment, you have two types of growth. You have real growth and you have market growth. Real growth is that a new facility came on. Market growth is that the old facilities there are now worth more money. This is market growth. This is saying that the facilities that are there are now worth more money. We don't know what the real growth is yet, but that kind of is the two differentiations.
Mr. Reeves, something that council may wish to consider, and I don't even know whether or not these changes in the assessment modifiers are going to be substantial, but you will have the opportunity in late April to decide whether you want to adjust the non-residential tax rate down to take advantage of these assessment review modifiers. Again, I don't know whether this is even significant.
Yeah,
we'll know in February, but
Okay, and who modifies, okay, so there's a 3-year tax holiday for new oil wells that are drilled. Who monitors that?
That's the provincial assessor. So we have an assessor that is assigned to us by the province, and their title is the provincial assessor. And they actually use information from both our assessor as well as development permits and that, and go back and forth and monitor those. And so they're the ones who will turn the assessment back to what it should be after that holiday.
Yeah, because I believe that some of those wells that are drilled in Division 3, they gotta be like approaching that 4th year of their existence, I would almost think.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're the provincial assessor is the one who modifies that. So.
Yeah. And when we were at the RMA convention, Minister Taves was asked a direct question in regards to, are they gonna consider canceling the tax holiday on new wells and drilling equipment? And I think his response was a definitive no. Once we bring in a policy, we don't want to flip-flop back and forth. It's, I guess it depends on what industry you're in,
Yeah.
whether they flip back and forth.
And it is very difficult for us as a municipality that the work is being done, the damage is being done to our infrastructure, yet we're not able to tax that. So,
yeah.
It's good that the RMA is keeping on top of that, because we need to keep that pressure up so that we can assess that property when it's happening. So.
But somewhere in the next 2 or 3 years, like based on the amount of activity that's out there, and I mean, all these places have, well, they got pipeline underground, so there's a linear there.
Yeah.
And then they also got a bunch of tanks above ground and stuff, because all this stuff is being trucked out of there. So the assessment on some of these places should be pretty significant, I would think, down the road here.
Yeah.
So just something to keep in mind.
Exactly.
Future planning, I guess.
Yes.
On the carryover projects from 2022, we got information on number fire 2022 units. No, sorry. No, 80M 2022. Where the heck? Writing's too small.
Fire 2022.
No, it's not. It's where did it go?
Fire 2022.
No, yeah, it's at the power plant. 2 things. We were told it's going to cost $100,000 to hook it up. My electrician's laughing at me. I want information they got that they come to the conclusion it's going to cost us $100,000 to hook up something that we own already and power switch. It came from the same power line that we're on at Beaver Hill Lodge, and the county's on the same power line, same voltage. The buildings were built at the same in the same era with the same contractor, believe it or not, for electrical. I dug back in some filing cabinets I got at home, and we were told it'll be $100,000 to hook up a machine we already have. I want to put that back as yellow, and we better do some more information. The other day it was 30 below and our power is out for 3 hours. Doesn't take long to freeze up a building, and I think we got it. We bought it for this place. I can't see it costing $100,000 to hook it up.
So, Mr. Reeve, that one was indeed marked red, and I think it was pushed into 2024. So the councillor is asking to include that one in 2023.
Yeah, put it back, because I want to see the paperwork where it cost $100,000. I want to see what the cost was. What cost that much? That's what I want to see.
Very good. Unfortunately, the regional fire chief has left the room.
Well, they can,
We'll follow up with
I
him.
just want to put it back because we said to sell it or get rid of it, sell it, but it'll be the power goes out. It doesn't take long for a building to freeze up. So
Mr. Reeve, my suggestion to the councillor was that if he thought he had a better number, he ought to propose it. Is that what you'd like to do today?
I want to see what they come up with, so I know what costs so much. But yes, the electrician was going to come here and check everything out.
Just follow-up information.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
just
I-
move it from red where they're gonna sell it, so they don't sell it. Cause when he said,
Yeah.
just so they don't sell it yet, we better see, that thing's got no hours on it. It's like new. Be a shame to, give it away and then his building freeze up one day.
In essence, I guess what we want to see is the quotes, right?
Want to see the quotes and
Yep.
put a hold so they don't sell the power plant and the switch gear that we got for it, so.
Okay.
See what, get a few contractors in here and see what it's really gonna cost us.
So my recommendation then would be that we make we add a motion to here that we have administration bring back the information for the generator and the installation, and that it be brought forward in the spring amendments. Would that suffice for council?
I just wanted to hold it so they don't sell it yet, and that's the generator. We got the switch gear there somewhere too.
So. Because we have two options. We can put it on the budget now, or we can bring back the information. It'll be funded from reserves, most likely on the install. So I think would be fine to have this budget approved if that's council's desire, and amend that particular item once council has all the information.
As long as they don't sell it, but we know for sure what it's gonna cost. And one more carry forward when the paper put in there, we're gonna have some stuff going up, and somebody watching meeting seen we were carrying 200 grand over to add to the 500 to make 700,000 on projects. I had it, I lost it on my desk here, the number. They were asked, they said we didn't spend the 500 last year, how are we gonna spend 700 this year, and with all the cutbacks and stuff. I don't know the number, it's something.
Actually, Neil, I think you're referring to line 2023-18, the drainage improvements.
Yeah, we carried 200 grand, there was 500, total of 700.
I think we dropped at 200,000 though,
Yeah, we did. It's this.
because originally it was 700 and we felt that,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay,
we
that's
reduced
what I
that one down to 5.
checking, okay.
Yeah. It's 2023-18 on the capital infrastructure projects, multi-year projects.
Is that on the new paperwork or the,
It's on page 42.
oh, it's the one, okay.
Yep.
Good. Sorry, I lost the number of all this paperwork, so thanks, David.
And Mr. Reeve, the regional fire chief, will be in momentarily with information that Deputy Reeve White has requested.
Okay, I got a question for Darby in the interim here then. Here again, I'm kind of like Neil here. I lost where we put it, but we had allowed $100,000 for extended warranty
Graders.
for the graders. Actually, it's on the green page, the first one here.
Yeah, that's on the service enhancements.
Yep. So we got a grader here last week, I believe, Darby, and we're expecting one early in 2023 or mid 2023. Are we putting the extended warranty on those units? Maybe somebody run Darby a mic there.
So we haven't included in the 2023 budget for extended warranties on those two units. We did take possession of one 2 weeks ago. We have one on order. In speaking with the dealer representatives, we don't have to proceed with extending the warranty right away. Anytime within those 5 years, there shouldn't be a change in the price. So we will include in 2024 budget for warranty on those two. We have included in this budget for extended warranties on the new orders for 2023.
David. My understanding is it was an extra $12,000 per year per unit.
That's correct, yes. So it'd be an additional 48,000 we would have to include in the 2023 budget.
Okay, because we're allowing 100,000 here.
We've allowed 96 or $100,000 for 4 existing units.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at some existing units that would qualify to add another 2
Yes,
years.
we've got
Okay.
four units on 5 years now that would qualify to extend. One needs to be done here this year, and the other 3 we're going to do at the same time.
Okay,
And that's included in the operating budget.
sorry.
That's included in the operating budget
Yep.
for those, so.
Yeah, just to clarify where the $100,000 of expenses could be in 2020.
And that'll be an operating.
I think it's smart to go to the 10,000 hours because in a casual conversation with some grader operators, they're putting around 2,000 hours a year on a machine. I guess it's all relative to what the winter is like, right? So,
Yes, we've got machines that range from 1,500 to 2,000 a year. It depends on the type of year you get. The 5 year 7,500 hours, historically, some have I've had to park some within the last 6 months. Some they'll be at 6,500. So extending the warranty for $24,000 for an extra 2 years is far better spent.
And we got one.
which brings us to the question, Rodney. How many graders do we budget to buy next year? 1 or 2? If you look at the 2023 capital, it looks like we got 2 planned for next year.
For 2023, yes, there's 2.
So one of those is already the unit that's already ordered,
Right?
and one would be an additional purchase.
So how many units did we buy in 2022?
We bought and took delivery of 1.
Yeah.
And we ordered.
And we ordered the second, which will be delivered in 23, so it would come out of the 23 budget.
So in essence, we're getting 3 graders in 2 years.
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they build a third one in time, right? So
Yes.
what happened to the money? Was that carried over to pay for the grader in 23, or what are we doing there?
If you look at PW 2023-04, that is the one that was ordered in April because we had a price for it. The 2023-05 is the new budgeted one, and there's been some price increases and the warranty on that. So you'll see that our original estimate was 600,000 plus the 24,000 for warranty. And I believe the price before warranty on that other one was 528. 582, sorry, 582. 666.
Neil, you got any other questions regarding the budget here?
No, those are the 2 main ones.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, on this Beaver Hill drainage, 222 was 135,000.
And I'll have Mr. Dietz talk about the 135,000, and then there's in 2023, you'll see that there's the remaining portion of that.
Well, it doesn't make very much sense when it's last you're supposed to be putting in there, I think 15 culverts to get to the lake.
Yeah, so the money spent this year was for survey, review, approval, environmental approvals.
Yep.
And for 2023 will be the construction.
Okay, so they have construction there, 230,
258.
258.
That is the estimate we received, yes.
When you're paying $50,000 a culvert to be putting in on all the other roads, is that right? It doesn't make sense.
I haven't seen the full design, so I can't say for sure whether it's just culverts or if it's some additional grade ditching work, or if there's road raises.
Sure, it's not very much, 258,000. I don't know. I have that sheet at home someplace else where I think it was close to $1 million to do that drainage. And when I seen this, just wondering what they're gonna do here. Does it really make sense that $135,000 for engineering? And it's only, what you call it, and $258,000 for the work? That's, something's wrong somewhere.
Well, it's not necessarily just 135 for engineering. We're carrying that money over. That's the remaining budget that was left over. And so the project as a whole is going to be the 400. 300.
You don't have the full
300
price of it?
It'll be the 380, the 258, 300 plus the 135.
That still doesn't sound right.
It sounds low.
Engineering?
No, as a project.
I don't
Well-
recall the $1 million.
I have that in one of the other folders. I know that it was way over that price anyhow.
Well, I think we're quite confident with the 2023 amount. If it turns out that the amount in 2024 needs to be higher, we have the
Well,
opportunity
we don't
to
need,
adjust that.
it doesn't say anything about 2024 here.
Right. Then I've misunderstood which one we're talking about.
It's line item,
23-16, yeah.
2021-19. So this project has been carried forward for a number of years now. Because my understanding, and you can clarify this, Dan, is I thought there was a grant of $108,000 to do the study on this thing.
Well, maybe there was. I have no idea what they have here.
That's what the Associated did, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think
Okay, so associated, and they took where does that $135,000 go to that was spent in 2022?
it hasn't been spent yet, Dan. It's a carry forward. So that money hasn't been spent. So essentially you could add that 135 on to the 258,
That's correct.
which takes the value of that project to 393,
Yeah, that's correct.
sort of, kind of. So that money in 2022 is not spent. It's carried forward, Dan.
Okay, but
So-
there's nothing carried forward for my understanding, the completion is going to be 2023.
Yes,
I think that was in the last form
yes.
I have to find that thing at home. Somebody mentioned here something that it's carried over to 2024. There's not.
Mr. Reeve, I was mistaken. It's 22-23. I was thinking it was 23-24. Just brain fart.
So in essence, there's just under $400,000 that's available for that project.
That's correct. 393,880, I believe is the number.
Hope that's enough to complete it. If you're, like I said, if you're spending $50,000 a culvert to put in and replacement of culverts, and here you're doing a complete project, it doesn't jive.
Darby, are we doing that with internal forces or external forces?
The estimate we have is for contracted work. Our plan is in the new year to bring a presentation to council to review all of our planned work Once we've had a chance to look at everything that we want to get done in 2023 and confirm with council that there's no other culverts they want to have installed. So once we've reviewed it, we'll know which ones we intend to contract out and which ones we'll intend to do in-house.
Okay.
What did we pay this last year for these contractors to put in culverts? Culverts. Does it recall?
It was 9 locations, 18 or 20 culverts for 387. Isn't that right?
That sounds about right, yes.
What's that? What are those numbers again, Roy? Sorry.
It was approximately 387,000 over
18 or 20 culverts, I forget.
Yeah,
Total.
that's close.
9 locations.
9
but
locations, yeah, 14 or 15 culverts, I think.
You're looking
Ah,
at
look.
20,000 culverts.
And that's just the design build.
That was the design build contract, yes.
What was that? Sorry, design.
The design build contract.
Oh. $20,000 culvert.
Those were done by ourselves or those were contracted?
Contracted.
So quick question, Rodney.
Mhm.
And I have to admit, I think I know the answer to this already. Fuel usage. Do we separate the fire department from public works?
Yes, we do. Yep. Yeah, we actually, each individual department, ASB as well, is separated from public works as well. So
ASB is separated also?
that's correct.
I don't see any fuel under ASB. And
It would be in material goods and supplies line is where that would be. So within that 335,000 on page 36.
hey, council got any other questions?
Chief Milliken is here to address the generator question here as well. Pass the mic over.
Thank you, Worship Council. So I did catch that. I was listening virtually. So I just wanted to reiterate the $100,000 project included $50,000 to $60,000 for the electrical work alone, and then an additional budget amount for concrete pad, fence, natural gas hookup, and the trench associated with that. Now, I did express to council that this is a budget number. This was not a formal RFQ. So this was a working number to kind of get us through. So if council would like to turn this to yellow and have us do a formal request for quotation ahead of the spring 2023 budget adjustment to get some firm numbers, absolutely can do that. This number came from our internal building contractor, the one that we use for everything. So we just, as I mentioned, we have to do an assessment to the electrical system here to see which areas of the building need to be powered, which don't. And that's all going to, you know, for example, if we want to use the switch that was included with the generator, that will have some limitations. And if we want the entire building hooked up, that's going to cost a bit more. So the 100,000 was a total package price to get it from Public Works here, installed, fenced, trenched, and then wired in with a potential of a switch change out. So we can definitely do a formal RFQ ahead of April.
I think we gotta get an estimate, in my opinion, I'm not speaking for these guys, but, that thing ran the entire old age home, Beaver Hill Lodge, with 3 big boilers and everything, so this building, the heating and everything is way smaller. I think we better, before we sell it, better see exactly what it's gonna cost us.
So, Mr. Reeve, we can proceed in one of two ways. Council can put it back in the budget, and what we'll do is pursue a disciplined tender process that would get estimates from multiple providers. Or council could direct us to pursue more information in a upcoming meeting.
First, we gotta find, power plant and the switch gear that we got to see if it's any good when they're doing this. They gotta check that first, right? Or included. So do we know where the switch is?
I could do some research on that.
So again, the two options are one which involves kicking it down the road in terms of pursuing it in 2023 for budget in 2024, or addressing it now in terms of providing a budget amount, which we would then pursue, that we would then follow up with a RFP in accordance, or a quotation in accordance with council's approved procurement policy. What's your preference, Councillor Whitus? Put it back in the budget or continue working on it?
I'd say put it back in the budget as yellow and see where we're at. And that's one vote. We got 4 more.
Yeah, we can put it back in the budget and bring it back in spring.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. Guess there's a third option. So not part of the approved budget, but something council wishes to reconsider at tax rate time. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, it's in yellow, right? So then it's really not part of the budget if it's in yellow. Because it's kind of a pending expenditure, right? Green, it's in the budget. Red, it's definitely out of the budget.
Yeah.
Yellow is a pending item, so if we put something in yellow,
Okay.
then prior to the next,
Very good. So this has
Cycle.
no impact on the budget approval today, but it has an impact on what we do between now and May.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah.
Power goes out for 48 hours. You're gonna wish you had it here.
the other question I have is we're allowing $5,000 for, get the glasses lined up. Yeah, we're allowing $5,000 for land purchase right-of-ways with the potential development and some of the plans in the works in the heartland. Is that adequate? And can offsite levies we collect be used to buy right-of-ways?
I can answer the second question, no.
No, I didn't think so.
Offsite levies can only be used for the purpose they're collected. So in our current offsite levy bylaw is only for transportation and potable water. So the right-of-way purchase that we have on the on page 41 is for that specific road, Range Road 191. Is that the one you're
Which page are you
referencing
on?
to?
41?
Page 41? Is that the number you were referencing, or?
No,
Yeah, you said 5,000.
no, that 191, that's a totally different property.
Oh, okay, sorry, then
Yeah. No, I was thinking like for a utility corridor.
Oh, for utility corridor. Yeah, no, we don't have that in here at this point. But yeah, no, offsite levies cannot be used for that at this point, so.
And I think at this point, we decided to leave some of those expenditures out, depending what happens with
That's correct. So we will,
upcoming hopeful approvals.
yes, part of the items in planning and development are looking at the offsite levy bylaw so that we can utilize it for more than it currently is.
Which brings up the question, because that referencing the one that you're referencing, Rodney, on page 41, 2020-05. Do we have legal working on that, or, because that thing's been around for 3 years?
So that was one of the projects I was tasked with when I started here in the spring. We continue with negotiations with the landowners. We don't have legal involved as of yet. We did have a consultant working on the surveying, but everything else in-house going forward.
So is that sum going to be adequate based on where your negotiations are at this point?
That we're not seeing eye to eye at the moment. Our offer and their ask are very, very different. So trying to work with them to get this to resolve itself next year is the priority.
Okay. Okay. Right.
I have a question. Are all the outstanding balances on 192 that we had money owed for borrow pits, and has that all been cleared up? Historically, that was dragging on for years. So are those things all settled?
Fences and.
This would be a previous year's project.
Yes.
Yeah, from what I understand,
Yeah.
everything that has been brought forward has been paid, so that we're aware of, so.
Okay, that would be in Division 2, so. Okay, just a question.
Maybe Rodney, you can comment for the balance of council. There was an email regarding the John Espachuk water charges for the upcoming year.
Correct, yeah, and we understand that there are no increases in rates from John Espachuk for the coming year, so that'll be helpful for our water budget to be able to continue with our increase. And you'll actually see the increase on the next item with the schedule of fees bylaw. And so the just, kind of go back to the beginning as well. The approval of the budget today helps to get the projects moving forward, getting pricing. Usually pricing is better at this time of the year as opposed to waiting till mid-year. There is going to be the opportunity to amend these with the spring adjustments once we get the tax rates. So this essentially gets us moving forward. And again, the reserve transfers aren't done until the end of the year. So we'll be able to have that balance coming forward at the end. So, which, we'll be seeing here in the new year, all the reserve transfers from 2022 will be coming forward. So.
And the other one, Rodney, on page, actually it's the second page of the carry forwards here. PW 2022-03, road improvement, Range Road 192 and Township 564. I think we had budgeted some money to do some improvements there in 2022. We've eliminated from 2022, which is okay as far as I'm concerned, but I'm wondering if we shouldn't push it down to 2024, 2025 in a 5-year capital project, if it's not there. Otherwise, it's going to be forgotten about.
Is that PW 2022-03?
Yep.
That one was completed, which is why there was no
No,
report.
No.
that one, the design will be done by the end of the year. We had proposed for construction for 23. Council had directed to push it off, and we will show it in a future year for consideration.
But I don't think it's being shown in a future year right now.
We don't have that on the projects list, but we can definitely add that. That would be a great amendment.
Yeah, because we got the design, so at some point, probably something we should look at doing, but I don't think it's an immediate need right now unless we get a major flood next spring. I may eat my words here, but if we get a flood next spring, it's not going to matter anyway. It won't get done by then.
So is council amenable to having that on 2024, or do we want to push it further? And Mr. Dietz, do you have a rough budget number that you would?
Let's go to 2025 on that one.
We can also place it on the list without a budget number at this point and fill it in afterwards. Okay.
The estimated cost for construction would be $610,000.
We'll amend that we'll call that PW 2025. Road improvements are 192 and Township 564 for 610,000 in 2025. Yep.
Anything else? Are we, council, ready to proceed with the recommended motions?
So the first motion on there, Lamont County Council approved the amendments to the 2023 service level catalog as presented. Again, that catalog is page 23 of 80. We're going to say as amended because there was removing the words new water truck from there. And so then furthermore, once this is approved, we will update the service catalog and be able to distribute that to council for their reference. And of course, the public and our website.
Council good with that? Put the motion on the floor and we can.
I move the Lamont County Council approve the amendments to the 2023 service level catalog as amended.
Questions or concerns? Any debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aaron, you're good?
Yeah.
It's carried 5-0.
So motion number 2. So again, there was one amendment in here for the $4,000, removing that from the library department. So this would be the Lamont County Council approved the 2023 budget and multi-year operating and capital plan as amended. So as well, the capital plan will be amended for that Range Road 192. With 2023 operating revenues of 33,702,917 and operating expenses, and this is one that we changed, 36,504,283, including amortization of 2.805 million.
Actually, Rodney, that should be 502,283.
Sorry, 502, 36,502,283.
So this would be as amended.
That'd be correct, as amended.
Someone want to, Aaron?
Make a motion that the Lamont County Council to approve the 2023 budget and multi-year operating and capital plan as amended with 2023 operating revenues of 33,702,917 and operating expenses of 36,502,283, including amortization of $2,805,000.
Actually, you got the as amended earlier in the, yep. Okay, any questions or concerns? Seeing none, no debate, all in favor? It's carried 5-0.
So then the third motion in here is for the reserve transfers. And so just to be, as per our reserve policy, we want to be very specific about council approving the reserve transfers. So this is the reserves from operating of 1.530 from general operating, 29,800 from the virtual reserve, and 19,000 from fire.
Excuse me.
Okay. Someone prepared to make that motion?
Oh,
Dan?
Okay. That Lamont County Council approves reserve transfer to operating of 1,530,000 from general operating, 29,800 from virtual reserves, and 19,000 from fire operating.
What's the total of that?
Not that much.
So the, if you look on page 24, it follows, it's $1,578,800. It's the second section,
What page again?
24.
Season.
So the virtual reserve was originally a capital reserve, and the 1.549 is from operating reserves.
So before we proceed on this, Rodney, are we going to reference the mill rate increase at all? And
that was included in the budget as well. So the we actually didn't put that in the service levels, but we can make sure that that's in our communications out to the public. So, and so that what the increase in there, that was the 8% increase to farm and residential properties.
but that's not a definitive increase right now, is it?
No, that is not. So that'll be finalized once. So what we've done is we've increased the revenue,
Don't bring it in.
but that'll be a finalized once we complete the spring amendments and we get the assessment. It's be much easier to be able to have some definitive numbers once that assessment comes in.
Because Peter,
Yeah.
should this be discussed in camera?
I think councillors wanted to be able to reflect on that publicly, but that's your call.
Okay, because we have a handout here in regards to what the tax implication would be on our properties here.
We're That come today, where'd it come?
That came today.
Handed out today.
And so when we originally did the numbers with, in the committee meeting, we didn't increase any of the assessments. So this actually has both an increase in assessment and an increase in tax rate.
Did you guys find it?
Did hand it out?
I think it was in your mailbox.
It was in your mailbox with your agenda
Right
packet.
here. It's a big.
What did you guys put it in the mailbox? I picked my agenda up a couple days ago. Is it in there now?
It's in there now. It went in on Saturday.
Quoting my counselor in Ditch.
Okay, Division 3 has the biggest increase. Okay, so I guess my question, Rodney, is I wanted council to see the information that we were presented here regarding their own. I guess this is residential properties. And secondly, just wanted to make sure that we don't have to incorporate that anywhere in any motions that we're making. Today.
Yeah, no, we won't need to do that. These final decisions will be in April. This is more just to give that, that overall revenue direction. So what administration will do when we bring forward those bylaws in the spring, we'll use this direction from these committee meetings to set up our bylaws. And I imagine there'll be, committee of the whole discussions before that as well.
Okay. Any questions after seeing your tax increase? Potential tax increase.
It's just taxes, not requisitions, right?
That is
Right.
correct. Yeah. The requisitions are in here, but they're the same as last year.
Yeah, but that's pretty low, eh?
That's,
They're gonna be jumping.
Yeah. So that's not really accurate.
yeah, we didn't put any of the closed session discussions in on these.
Okay, so we have a motion on the books here. I believe that's your motion, Councilor Warwa. Any questions or concerns regarding the transfer from reserves to operating? Debate? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Yeah.
It's carried.
And then the last motion on here is the reserve transfers for capital purchases.
So Rodney, the transfer from the vehicle and equipment reserve, does that reflect the trade-in values or resale values of what we're trading up for?
Let me just look reference on the sheet.
That's because the number's lower than it was.
Yes, so page 44 has the detail. The numbers have been lowered for that sale of equipment in there.
And we handed out a larger size. Yeah.
So for the vehicle, the equipment purchases, we've allocated 125,000 from the MSI grant. We've allocated 395,000 from the sale of the equipment, $25,000 from the emergency services reserve, and then the remaining is coming from the vehicle and equipment reserve of 1.7 million.
Be able to get a balance of all the reserves after all this is done.
Absolutely.
In fact, I think we might have that on a meeting in January.
Yes, that'll be, actually, that will be coming forward in January. The balances of these reserves, oh, actually, no, these are just totals. Yeah, we can absolutely get that for you. So.
And then I think that council made a motion to dispose of a couple of assets that could add significantly to replenishing these reserves.
Yes, that's correct.
When that came up the first time, I was mentioned a few times that our Caterpillars are getting old. If we have a busy fire season, I don't think we can put employees in old cats like that. So I'm thinking maybe we're gonna have to, if we do sell those two pieces of equipment, maybe look at purchasing a cat, because they're getting old and their lines are rubbing and who knows what, and they go into the fires. And just my opinion.
I think I sent out a notification late last week or perhaps yesterday, I don't recall, that we are listing the scrapers with one of the 3 auction houses that we, or consignment dealers that we spoke with, and there appears to be some significant upside.
And if you look on page 45 of the 2024 to 2027 capital equipment, on line 2505, 2506, it references the replacement of unit 3309, which is our 2009 Cat E6 dozer.
What were you finding that, Dave? Sorry, what year or what?
Page 45. And it's actually line TW 2025006.
In the second section, the second last one.
So it's not planned for a couple years down the road, but we can always pull it back a year at next year's budget if that's the way we decided to go, I guess, right?
And if council does recall, we were directed to bring back a 15-year equipment replacement plan. So we will be bringing that for your review in the new year as well.
Well, if we go the 15 years, Darby, that puts it at 2024. So
Our thinking is to show you what the cost would be to have everything within 15 years of age. So.
okay. Yeah. I would think it would appear as though that machine has served us quite well. And if it's like any other construction equipment out there right now, it should demand a pretty premium price if we were to trade it in. Did you find it there, Neil?
Yep.
Okay.
Which is newer, the D5 or the D6?
Okay, so are we prepared to move on to the next line? Reserve transfers to capital. Right?
move that Lamont County Council approve reserve transfers to capital of $240,000 from bridge replacement, $150,000 from economic development reserve, $160,700 from emergency services reserve, $993,300 from road construction reserve, $400,000 from utility reserve, $1,868,185 from vehicle and equipment reserve, $39,300 from virtual reserve.
Any questions or concerns regarding the motion? Debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? So when do you think you would have that sheet for the balance of reserves remaining, Roger?
We're going to bring that forward with the policy for January 10th.
January 10th?
That's correct.
So, Mr. Reeve, we have a recommended motion to address Deputy Reeve Whitus's desire for additional information on the backup generator. We'll have that up in a moment.
As long as it's on a color that they don't sell it, we figure it out.
Darby, do you know where that is, that generator?
Yard, yes.
It is in the yard,
Yes.
undercover?
That I couldn't tell you for sure.
It's sitting out
There-
by where the salt trade used to be.
There is a lot of junk out there, so exactly where in the yard it is, I'm not sure, but
Oh, he doesn't have junk.
Yeah, we should probably try and get it undercover.
we can do that.
We gotta find the switchgear, see where that's at. I think it's in that old pool building.
'Kay.
That it was supposed to be put in there, but who knows what they did with it, so.
Okay.
Does that meet your need, Deputy Reeve?
Yeah, gotta let us know where the bid sheets are or whatever, because I got a couple guys want to bid on it too. But we gotta find what the switchgear is and that. Okay, Lamont County Council,
Hang on, Neil.
okay,
Do we want to explore firmer costs or do we want to get an RFP completed? Because
It's 100 grand. It's not a request for quotations. It's an RFP. Well, we believe.
we're not gonna spend 100 grand hooking up an old unit.
okay, so then you're okay with the explore further costs?
We could do an RFP. That would be
The RFP is going to give us a firm number, right?
gives us the best, most competitive number.
Yeah.
You'll let us know when you find all the stuff so that we can get some locals to bid on.
Well, with an RFP, you're going to get firm pricing. If you just explore the cost, that's not.
And you have, change the word to N. To N. And not A. Between initiate and request, to initiate a request for promote.
Actually, procedurally, this might be a problem. If we're issuing a request for proposal, we ought to be ready to buy it. We ought to have it budgeted.
Yes, you should.
Otherwise,
Just want to know if it's feasible of doing it or not.
Yeah. Project firmer number.
Yeah.
So maybe we're changing it back.
Back.
Maybe
go.
we're changing it back. An RFP, as council may recall, is an offer.
Yep.
And a response to an RFP is an acceptance. Initiate quotations to install. How about
Is Randy's Electric still in Two Hills?
this forward?
Deep plant, but I haven't heard.
I think we got what you need, and I think we're keeping ourselves out of trouble.
Dale, it's gonna be your motion.
Lamont County Council direct administration to initiate quotation to install a backup generator EM 2023-01 and bring it forward prior to setting a tax rate. I wonder if, because we own it already, we got it, so is that gotta be on there or?
It says install.
Yeah, backup, okay.
Wonder if we should put setting 2023 tax rate. Been carried forward before.
Setting the 2023 tax rate. Is that what you like,
Yep.
Deputy Reeve?
Friendly amendment?
2023.
You're okay with that, Neil?
Prior to setting the 2023 tax rate.
Okay. Questions or concerns? Debate? All those in favor?
Yep.
Scary. I think we're done with the budget.
One more thing, the schedule of fees. The next bylaw.
Oh, okay. Agenda item 6.1. As per the old agenda, schedule of fees bylaw, page 47 of 80.
We the fee to be specific to land. And this reflects increase in water rate.
So we do have included all three readings for the bylaw. And of course, the third motion is the unanimous consent for going into third and final reading.
So the actual bylaw is on page 50 of your package. Now, Rodney, maybe just for clarification, can you reference these specific pages that
Okay, so
we're making changes to here?
the first change is on page 52. And in the middle section, you'll see in red, so the second last column is the current fee as of 2022. And the last column is the 2023 rates. So you see the Heartland truck fill goes from $4 to $4.20 per cube of water. Hilliard goes from $4.29 to $4.50. St. Michael from $2.75 to $2.89. And then the hamlet of St. Michael, the quarterly fee goes from $171.60 to $180.18. The commercial fee goes from $314.60 to $330.33. The commercial fees, the metered fees, goes from $246 plus the line fee for the pre-2019 accounts to $2.58 plus the line fee, and then from $257 to $270 for the post-2019. You'll see commercial water from $246 to $258, Village of Andrew from $229 to $240, and the industrial line fee from $420 to $441. And then the bottom section of that is the for the users directly connected to the JSB water line, going from $4 to $4.20 for both the industrial and the commercial metered. And then the only other change will be on page 58, and it's the very bottom line. There's a section called Lamco Gas Co-op, and it says pipeline crossings on right-of-ways, and that is at $0. All other fees remain the same.
Question about water. We got a letter, there's a letter out for guys that have accounts at the truck fill. Do the users on the line have to prepay too, or is that still staying?
That is just for
The
truck fills.
fills.
Because of the fact that users on the line, it's used in their property, we can do enforcement measures. Those ones that are truck fills, it's more difficult to collect. So
Well, take their trucks away and we'll have snowplows. Take your truck.
Okay, any other questions? Essentially, the increases reflect the 5% increase at council.
that is correct.
Opposed. So if there's no other questions, I will look for provision of first reading. Councillor Anaka,
I move that Lamont County Council give first reading to bylaw 858.22, being a bylaw to set the fees for services, information, applications, or appeals provided to the public.
any questions or concerns regarding first reading? Debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? Yes, carried, 5-0. Councillor Wawa, you want to do second reading?
That that Lamont County Council give second reading to bylaw 5858/22, being the bylaw to set the fees and services, information, application, or appeals provided to the public.
Questions or concerns? Debate? Seeing none, those in favor? Carried, 5-0. Councillor Wick, you want to give unanimous consent for third and final reading?
Yep, make a motion that the Lamont County Council give unanimous consent for third and final reading of bylaw 85822. Being a bylaw to set the fees, service, information, application, or appeals provided to the public.
Questions or concerns? Debate? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Yeah.
It's carried, 5-0. And Deputy Reeve, do you want to give?
47
That's on your.
or page 2. Yeah.
Six point one.
We good?
The last one here.
Lamont County Council give the third and final reading to bylaw 858.22, being a bylaw to set the fees for services, information, applications, or appeals provided to the public.
Questions or concerns? Debate? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Yeah.
It's carried, 5-0.